His name is Gareth, and he riffs bits. His name is Gareth, hence why it's Gareth's.
Good evening, and welcome to Gareth's improvised stand-up comedy. Now, see, the way this works is people send in suggestions that I haven't seen, and I riff on them for your pleasure. My name is Gareth. I riff. It's Gareth's. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, which some of you are, please hit the subscribe button, ring that little bell. And if you're watching on Instagram, go over to YouTube and subscribe. Don't be assholes, okay? Good Lord. That's how we start, which brings us to our first segment, which is called Riffs Just In. Now, every week I riff on 3 crazy news stories picked out by my producer. Again, never seen these before. Let's jump in. Oh boy. Prince William says royals are very much not racist, not a racist family, in first remarks since explosive interview. I mean, it's like, remember when OJ was like, I plead 100% not guilty, and you were like, why just say 100%? You just seem guiltier. That's the same with very much not, like, how easy a question is that to answer? Like, why can't you answer that like a normal person, you know? Prince William, is the royal family racist? We are very much not a racist family. That sound weird? Would you ever say that? Are you hungry? I'm very much not hungry. Right? It's just like it's just like a weird way of it makes you think they're fucking racist. You know? Hey, are you racist? I am very much not racist. You'd just be like, no. No. Are you racist? No. Oh, okay. Are you racist? I'm very much not racist. You're racist. But I said that I wasn't. No, you didn't. You said I'm very much not. Bullshit. You know? And is it surprising? Why is that surprising? Of course they're racist. It's a clan of white people who live in it's a monarchy. Isn't that like part of it? Isn't that a big component in it? It's got a pretty abysmal history and whatnot? Are we not too old to have a royal family? Do we still need this? It feels like putting like Barbie dolls in charge of government. They don't do anything. I talked to my mother today for the pandemics that I shoot. I go, what do they do? She's like, well, they bring in tourist money. I'm like, well, so does Big Ben. And, you know, we don't have to put up with all his shit. So, yeah, but it's just a very weird way of putting it. I'm very much not racist. Yeah, okay. You know. All right. Man accused of exposing himself in subway had Kinder Egg full of drugs in his backside, court said. Wow. That's one of those ones that you got to drive by again to actually fathom. Man accused of exposing himself in subway. So there's this guy in the subway decides it's a good time to take out his penis. Also, potentially what was fueling that is he had a baby, an egg up his anus, and it was full of drugs. So I don't know who he fucked to get pregnant with a drug egg. Keith Richards? I don't know. But somehow this guy exposed himself, and then he had a Kinder Egg full of drugs up his ass. That's part of that's on Kinder. I don't know why you guys insist on putting, making these hard-shelled fake eggs full of, like, little Dutch toys, you know? Have you ever opened a Kinder and been like, oh, good, the toy. You know, the toy's always just like a little man, and you're like, I would have rather another half of chocolate than, like, this half toy. Where it's like, look, I got a little surfing man and half of my chocolate. But anyway, so this guy's clearly on drugs. Good way to smuggle drugs is to put an egg up your ass. And then, by the way, if the cops see the egg, like if the cops are like, all right, we're going to have to check your anus, and then they're there like, whoa, what is that? What is that? And be like, oh, I should point out my father's a hen. So that's his grandchild. What is that, an egg? Yeah, don't tell me if it's a boy or a girl if you see it. Ba 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 ba. I want to be surprised when it comes out of my butthole. Ba 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 ba. You know? So, good drugs, by the way. Good drugs. If you can get an egg up your ass, you're on some good shit. You know, that's what you do. You do the drugs, and then you go, pocket? No, come on. Nature's pocket. I'm going to put it in the pocket God gave me. Woo! You know? Reverse egg birthing. Yeah. Also, what is this compulsion to expose yourself? What is it's like a dick pic randomly I have never understood. But this is even crazier. You don't even have this person's number. You're just publicly showing your penis. I can't imagine that. If that's your fetish, that's pretty upsetting, you know? It's like, I can't feel love unless some stranger freaks out at my cock. It's like, that's not good. That's not good. Your partner's gonna have a lot of issues with that. Okay. Police, not police, not like the intestines of a cop. Police. Man stole 400-pound slide from playground, mounted it to bunk bed. If you saw this guy, he's like 33. So this is not a child who just took a 400-pound slide. And then, a 400-pound slide? And they also show, like, the slide in the room. It does not look like it could possibly be 400 pounds. But, I guess that might be the same guy who had an egg up his ass. Seems like, though, there's some connectivity there. You know, that if you're going to put a slide in your bedroom, you might be on Kinder anal drugs. So I can't... that's just such a huge undertaking. And now he's going to go to jail for a slide theft. That's just, like, really a weird crime. It's a crime for help, is what it is. This guy wants to be helped. You know, he publicly took a slide. A grown-ass man took a slide. That is the story. And then the police found it, and they were like, what? And he's like, I'm a child at heart. And they're like, you used adult equipment to remove a child slide. Do I go to kid jail? You go to grown-up jail. Fucking weird. Okay. All right, now, suggestions. This week, we have a guest suggestion from our personal friend, Barack Obama, the 44th president of the United States. It was very nice of him to take some time out of his schedule, drop a suggestion. He's got a new podcast he wants to plug with Bruce Springsteen, so you guys should definitely check that out. And if you're like, hey, Gareth, I just think that a friend of yours who was supposed to give a suggestion didn't do it in time, and so you asked your producer to just say it was Barack Obama. If that's your theory, you probably got a Kinder up your ass, okay? Because that is crazy. And by the way, thank you, Barack Obama, for your suggestion. I know you're a busy guy. This means the fucking world to me. Okay. Well, what a tie-in. When you're the president of the United States of America, and I had to sign bills and wear suits and shit. When you're the president of the United States of America, and I had to sign bills and wear suits and shit. Well, I mean... I would hate to guess which suggestion was Obama's right off the bat, but it feels very connected to him. I just can't imagine. This suggestion is when you're the president of the United States of America, and I had to sign bills and wear suits and shit. So it's definitely Obama. It's got that Obama cadence. It's got that beautiful speech writing that we've all grown to love with Obama. And the way it would sound is like this. When you're president of the United States of America, and I had to sign bills and wear suits and shit. Okay, that's Obama. So one more time. When you're president of the United States of America, and I had to sign bills, wear suits and shit. Okay, there you go. So Obama, if that's very transparent. When strangers ask what you do for a living, it depends. Depends on the situation. You know, if you're in my career, you do not want to say because it's interesting. And so it means you're in for a long haul, you know? And I'm not saying it's interesting to me. It's just a weird job. Like whenever I'm in like a lift, like going to do stand-up and I've said to the person that I'm a stand-up, you know, the whole drive changes, you know? It's very boring at first, you know. It's like, Gareth, you're like, yeah. All right, I see where you're going. I'll take you there right now. All right, thank you, man. What brings you to town? Oh, just a little business. Oh, yeah? What kind of business? I'm a comedian. Comedian, really? Yeah. Wow, all right, that must be a good job. Yeah, I like it a lot for sure, huh? Well, it could be worse. Yeah. So you're funny, huh? Yeah. I love comedians. Cool. That's great for you. That's awesome. Do you know Nate Bargatze? I know who he is. Yeah, I mean, but you don't know him. Not well. No. I love that guy. You do stuff like him? No, totally different. Well, what's your angle on the world? I don't really have one. I wish I'd said that I was a construction worker, which is what I used to do. When I worked construction, when I worked manual labor, it was the best because people would be like, what do you do in Los Angeles? I'd be like, I work construction. They'd be like, oh, all right. And then you just see their eyes go to other parts of the room like, that's cool, man. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully you figure out how to mix the grout properly. I gotta go over here, you know? You know what it also reminds me of? You know, how about it's kind of like adjacent to that feeling when you ask someone in a store if they work there and they don't, how pissed off they get. You ever seen that? You know, someone who's just wearing a vest out in the real world for no reason. Someone who just wore a red vest to Target, you know? You just go up, you're like, hey, where's the shampoo? It's like, I don't work here. It's like, bro, you need to fucking calm down, okay? I did not being rude. You wore a red vest to Target. I don't fucking work here, you know? Ugh. So, yeah. Yeah, I always say go with a job you don't do. Alfred, Batman's butler, on a Tinder date. I mean, he's very old. He's very old. So he's gonna be on an old person Tinder. Okay? So it would be like this. Well, it was really great to match with you. I'm actually not using a lot of Tinder these days. Yes, I also have not used Tinder often. Yeah. Your job said that you're self-employed. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't really mean I'm self-employed, but I've got one constant employer. Oh, who is it? Yes, nobody. No, who is it? Nobody. He's a real nobody. A real nobody? You said you're a butler. Yep. So he's a nobody who has a butler? Yes, that's right. Yes, he is a big nobody who's found himself with a butler for some reason. So, does he have money? Yes, of course he's got money. He's got a butler. Of course he's got money. So, why can't you tell me who it is? Because his personal security is quite important to him. His parents were murdered when he was a child. Oh my God, that's fucking crazy. Yes, I shouldn't tell you that, though. Well, that's fine. I mean, that's an okay thing to tell. You know, I feel very trusting to you, Christine, right away. Oh, thank you. You know, my master isn't who he says he is. Really? What does that mean? Well, he says who he is, but then he's also someone else. I don't follow. Bruce Wayne. Oh, Bruce Wayne. I love Bruce Wayne. Wayne Enterprises. That's amazing. Yeah. Yes. Well, I work for him, but I also have another boss, too. So you work for Bruce Wayne, and then you have another boss on top of that. Yep, that's right. I've got another boss on top of Master Wayne, adjacent to Master Wayne, almost another Master Wayne, but he's not Master Wayne. At least he doesn't go by that name. Alfred, you're an enigma. Yes, I suppose I am a bit. Bat. What? He's Batman. What? Master Wayne is Batman. God, I feel so close to you. This is intimacy I've tried to have with others, but I've never been able to experience before. And here we are, gushing about our lives to each other, revealing secrets we never thought we'd feel comfortable doing. And yet we've only known each other for 30 minutes. And as I'm looking at you, I'm slowly realizing the bad news. I'm Catwoman. Fuck! No! Batman will be so livid! All right, there you go. Alfred on a Tinder date. Zucchini versus courgette. Well, I guess what people do... Zucchini and courgette, the same thing. Zucchini, American, courgette, European, just like aubergine, eggplant, just like rocket, arugula, just like potatoes, everything they eat. So yeah, zucchini. I like being able to know both, but I definitely go with zucchini. I mean, I was American a lot of stuff. I get tripped up still on words that I thought when I was a kid I couldn't remember which was which. So I'd be like, I want some herbs. And they'd be like, herbs. I'd be like, I need kitchen roll. They'd be like, paper towel. I'd be like, I've got my swimming costume. They'd be like, bathing suit, you know? And so I always got a little fucked up when I was trying to remember zucchini versus courgette. But to me, it's a zucchini. It's not a courgette. I mean, what they should do is we should make a car that it looks like a zucchini, and we should just call it like the Chevy Courgette. And it should just be just like a Corvette, but with little zucchini qualities. Drive the Corgi. What was Pam's career when she lived in the U.S.? My mother's career when she moved to the U.S. was she sold toys for a living. My mother was a toy sales rep. So my mother would basically get all these toys, and then she would drive around to toy stores, and she'd be like, do you like koosh balls? Do you like Connect 4? You know, stuff like that. And they'd be like, yeah, give us a bunch of it. And so she was gone a lot. She was always driving around on her appointments. I've got to go see a customer, she'd say. And so she sold toys. But the cool part was I was able to get a lot of, like, cool toys early, like the koosh ball. Like, I had access to the koosh ball maybe a year and a half before it hit the market. So I took a koosh ball to school like an alien child, you know? I just came to school, and I was like, what's up, everybody? And they were like, what is that? And I was like, oh, this is just called a koosh ball. And they were like, what is it? And I was like, it's just like a billion rubber bands, and it's got a little ball in the center. Not a big deal. Some of them aren't cut, so you can go like this with the koosh ball. And people be like, you know? And, like, girls were around me like, hey, Gareth, I noticed you've been, like, working out lately. I'm like, I haven't been working out, but I do have a koosh ball. And they'd be like, ooh, I didn't even notice. Wow. You know, teachers would come up to me and be like, read your last paper, Gareth, even though you're in second grade and a terrible student. And, man, you really nailed it. And I'm like, maybe it's that, or maybe it's just a koosh ball right here, motherfuckers. And that was what she did. And my father also worked in the toy industry, so I was raised by two toy people. And I don't mean, you know, action figures. They would have had a better marriage if they were action figures. I mean toysers, toy people. My parents were toy people. Grandpa with the rattle on his head. How do you know about that? Where have I mentioned that before? That is, maybe that came up on something we talked about. This is a fucking great story, and it doesn't sound true. I was on a TV show, and I pitched it as an idea, and a couple people, I think, thought I was fabricating reality. This story, I don't know if I was alive for this story or not, but I've been led to believe it's 100% true. So my grandfather was a bit of a moody guy. He apparently would wear sweaters depending on his moods. There were certain sweaters. If he had a green sweater on, you'd be like, duck. And if he had a red sweater on, you'd be like, ask him for money. So he had major swings in attitude. And one night with one of the children, my grandfather thought it would be fun to play with the rattle with the kid. So he's playing with the rattle with the kid, you know, this baby. Might have even been me, I don't know. And he's playing with the rattle with the kid, and, you know, the kid's reacting like kids do with rattles. They're like, oh, my God, the universe is so complicated. And he then decides to step up his game, puts a lick on the sticky part of the rattle, and jams it on his forehead like he's a narwhal, okay? So he's got the rattle on his head. So then he's shaking it to the child. He's sort of going like, he's unicorning it. He's going like, look at it now, you know, and the kid's like, oh my God, just when I thought the universe couldn't be any more complex, you throw a thing like this at me. And then my grandfather's like, ha ha ha, all right, fun. All right, I'm going to go inside and make some breakfast. God damn, and he couldn't get the thing off his head. And everyone's laughing because he can't get the rattle off his head. They're not sure if he's joking or serious, but it is stuck on his head. So he's going, hey, help me with this rattle. You know, he's getting pissed that people are laughing because he's got the rattle on his head, and he's getting more gestury and pissed, and he's shaking his head, and this rattle's going, and nobody can get the rattle off. And they ended up having to they go to a doctor to have the doctor, like, use some liquid to actually get the rattle off of his head. So my grandfather, while trying to entertain this child, ended up becoming the most pissed off person who had the most light object on his head. You know, rattle screams fun, lightness, good times. And my grandfather with the rattle on his head was stuck on his head, was giving darkness and anger and frustration. So it was a good juxtaposition of, a couple of different things. So there you go. Which is what a juxtaposition is anyway. Okay, here we go. Grandpa with the rattle on his head. Perfect vacation. Beach house, cabin in the mountains, or exploring a city. Well, it is not exploring a city, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, for my money, it would probably be cabin in the mountains. Beach house close second. But I'm so sick of fucking cities. I really am. I just don't like it. I don't like the way it's laid out. Everything is a Home Depot and a Sam's Club and a Walmart, and that's just everything. And you just drive. We almost now have like those backgrounds that cartoons characters have when they're like walking down the street, and it's just the same shit over and over again. That is essentially what we have now. You're walking by Starbucks, Pinkberry, Burger King. It's all the same stuff. So I like being away from it. Beach, great too. Love the ocean. Big fan of the ocean. Feel like it can heal you somewhat. But cabin in the mountains would be for me. And exploring a city sounds like a goddamn nightmare. I can't imagine. Oh, wait, hold on. First time and place you would time travel to. Probably to when my grandpa got the rattle stuck on his head, because it just sounds unbelievable. Side note, I used to eat coal as a child. I would eat anything, and I would eat coal. And we can't find this picture of me eating coal. But when I was eating coal, people were taking pictures of me eating coal. And the one thing they were worried about is that my grandpa would be pissed off that I was, getting rid of useful coal by eating it. Crazy. First time and place I would try time travel to. That's so hard. If I could go forward, I would love to see where we're at in 50 years. Love to get a glimpse into that. If we're talking backwards, I don't know. I guess I would like to see... I really would like to have a good sense of what, like, the 1860s were like, because everything I feel it would be is awful. So I would like confirmation that the 1860s were a total disgusting shit show. Where people spit wherever they wanted, everybody smelled, there was no real plumbing, there was no real tooth care, everyone was drunk all the time, sexually transmitted diseases were rampant, murder was like fairly legal but not like fully legal. So that would be a time when I just would love to soak it up and be like, oh yeah, this is awful. And then get back into the time machine. But knowing my luck, I'd be like, wait, where did I put the time machine? I'd be like, oh no, now I live here. And then we do Back to the Future 3. But, I something like that. Unless I was like to undo something, then I'd go like stab Hitler through the neck. But that's such a generic answer. I would love to stab him, though. Wisconsin winters. Yeah. Yes, they are real. They are no joke. I can't remember the last time I experienced one. It was probably 2 years ago, maybe 3. And, you forget how fucking bad it gets. It is really, really bad. It is like you don't know if you'll live bad. It is so cold that you're like, I don't care if I live bad. You'd rather just fall on the ground and die bad. It's that bad. It's start your car 15 minutes early bad. It's school doesn't get canceled because of snow, because yes, it snows and they can plow the streets. School gets canceled because of wind chills, because it's so cold, because it's negative 70 degrees with the wind chill factor, just you can't get out of your house sometimes. Can jump off your roof into more snow, no problem. I'll see pictures of my house from when I'm a kid, and I knew no better. I didn't know there were other places that weren't like Wisconsin. And I knew that, like, people talked about it, but I had no idea how bad it was. But yeah, Wisconsin winters are no fucking joke. They are crazy. One time when I was with my buddy Brett, I was like, I'm going to go for a jog in a Wisconsin winter. And it was a bad night. It was like, negative, 30 with the wind chill. And I go, I'm going to go on a jog. And he's like, you can't do it. But what I did was I ended up dressing myself up. Remember those guys who robbed the bank with like their bulletproof outfits and all they had exposed were their eyes? I basically did that with wool. And so I just wooled myself up. I Michelin manned the shit out of me. And I got enough layers on that I told my buddy, I was like, I'll be back in a little bit. And I started jogging down the street. And I probably got 30 feet before I was like, oh my fucking God. And I had to turn around and I came right back. And the skin that wasn't exposed, but I could, it's just crazy. My mother was recounting recently how she got us cross-country skis to go skiing. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember us cross-country skiing. And she's like, well, you only remember the part where you liked cross-country skiing for 5 minutes. Because I guess I got like 300 feet, and then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I took my skis off, and then my mother had to cross-country ski back with my skis, too, while I walked, and, and in my memory, my selective memory, I remember us cross-country skiing together. That's all I remember. I don't remember where I was like, hey, carry the skis, I quit, which I guess happened, so, but you're a kid, you're a little shit. Going out and realizing you've forgotten your mask. I've had dreams about that. I've had dreams where I'm like, oh my God, I forgot my mask. I've had dreams where I'm like at Six Flags, sans mask, just maskless walking around, and other maskless people are like, where's your mask? And I'm like, don't ask. That is how you get COVID. I thankfully am stocked up in my car with masks. I've forgotten my A-list masks, and there are times where I've used the mask that I'm like, this is not a really new mask. You're just kind of like, it's like putting on like, an old sock or something, or like wet swimming trunks. But But yeah, I thankfully have never fully forgotten them. I mean, I don't really know what you do. I mean, I guess someone gives you a mask, you go buy masks, but how can you go in? It's a very vexing situation, if you forgot your mask. So I have tons of masks, too many masks, way too many masks. So it's never happened to me. I've never full on forgotten a mask. I've, forgotten my good mask, but I've never full on forgotten a whole mask. Oh, I stopped that camera early. I'm sorry, I misread. How cuddling has become a thing for lonely hearts in the pandemic. Cow cuddling. Sorry. Cow cuddling has become a thing for lonely hearts in a pandemic. Well, that does not surprise me. Cows are really sweet and very affectionate. We have this take on a lot of livestock or animals that they're just kind of they're not into humans or they're not nice. But the truth is you're not seeing these animals under conditions where they would like humans. If you see a cow that's free to frolic, this is a sweet being. They are very, very sweet, tender, loving animals. They really are. So I get it. I mean, I don't eat meat. I would never be able to actually eat one of those things again. But yeah, I mean, it's fucking adorable. Cows are cute. I know it doesn't seem like it. I think we need to stop looking at animals that whether we find them adorable. There's so many animals that are so sweet and tenderhearted that are just, we don't look at them the same because you're supposed to eat them, okay? That's just because they live in the freezer at Arby's doesn't mean when on Earth they're dickheads. They're very nice, Love a good cow. Love a cow. Nudist resorts, are you in? I'm not in. I am fully out on nudist resorts. I don't know. I'm just not into it. It's not only my penis, it's other people's penises and other people's... It's OPP is what it is. It's what Naughty by Nature made a career out of. I don't want to see other people's pees. I don't. And the truth is, nudists, the whole thing about nudists is that they're we don't really care what we look like. We don't care what we look like. We're this is God's body. We're in God's suit. That's all that matters, And that means they don't really groom or take care of themselves or worry about an odd freckle or a scratch or a silly dimple, I got my fill of naked men when I had to go to the YMCA as a child. That's where I would go to exercise or swim or little things like that. We had a great Y in Brown Deer. And you make the switch at the YMCA from children's rooms to adult rooms at some point. You go from 14 and under to the 14 and over, or maybe even 12 and over, whatever it was. When I hit 12, I'm going into the grown-up locker rooms, and that is just a different world. They are peeling the veil back. You are all of a sudden out of the Matrix and into the world I mean, to be 12 years old and see what happens, see what this body of humans degenerates into. They just look like a bunch of white raisins with wrist watches that fell in piles of barbershop hair clippings. It's fucking disgusting. I mean, the things you would see men do at the YMCA with their balls, comfortably with their balls. Just like a guy with his foot up on the sink, putting powder on his nuts, just looking at you did you go swimming today, boy? And you'd be why are his balls covered in powder? Or dudes doing sit-ups butt-ass naked, just no towels being dropped left and right. It was fucking disgusting. I saw into the portal of nude. I saw my future. It was like going to a soothsayer or a fortune teller or an oracle. Just what will I look like when I'm older? And they were do you like the look of this? And I was I do not. Why does it look like my skin's turned into a bunch of pockets? The fuck is happening to my body? So I'm out. I'm out on the nudist resort, I can't get down with it. I'm sure it would be great to see some people naked, but I think it's a net loss. I think you net lose. You don't want to see some of these people nude. If someone is willing to be naked around you, it probably means they're at the part of their life where they've kind of given up. So why would they do that? Exactly. Because their scrotum looks like a monkey's elbow. Okay. Celebrity whatever happened to web articles. Yes, the celebrity whatever happened to web articles. They're the worst. They're the worst. And they get you every now and then. It'll just be like, watch Jonah Hill's fluctuating weight, but you won't believe what he's wearing for this summer resort. And you're like, well, I'm busy, but what is Jonah Hill wearing to the summer resort? And then you click on it, and you go to one of those weird sites where you can't really tell how you click to the next page, It's just like there's a picture of Jonah Hill, like regular Jonah Hill, and you're like, well, that's regular Jonah Hill. That's not what I want. And then you scroll down, and then there's one that's like next, previous, and then there's another one that's like next, previous, and you're like, wait, and there's a bunch of ads, and you're like, next, and then it's like, next. Oh, great, you want some skincare. Well, here at the skincare website, and you're like, no, not skincare, Jonah Hill summer body. The fuck? Then you go back, and then you got to click every one, It's just like page 2. You're like, page 2. And then it takes you to page 2, and it's like normal Jonah Hill again, and you're like, where's this weird Jonah Hill? Page 3. It's regular Jonah Hill again. You're like, 4. Regular Jonah Hill again. 5. Wrong 5. You're back on the skincare website. Hey, do you need skincare help? No, back. No. 5. Jonah Hill looking a little weird. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. 6. Jonah Hill looking regular again. How many are there on here? 135. There's 135 of these pages. The one you want to see is towards the end. Is there any way to skip it? No, not at all. You have to go one by one so fucking slowly. This is like turning pages in a book. Yeah, but even worse because you're actually not in control of your motor skills. This is bullshit. You're only on page 12. You have so many more to fucking go. Then you just close it out. You're like, fuck it. And then you just go, oh yeah, Jonah Hill summer attire. Ha! That's what he's wearing. I hate those websites. That's what they do. They just are the worst. And then when you close that website, there's 40 pop-ups behind it like, hey, skincare. Hey, boner pill. Hey, want a fanny pack? You're like, what is happening? Clearly just there to drive you to advertising, but you take it. You deal with it. It happens. Okay. What wine goes best with cat food? Ooh, a Melback. Ooh, a Melback goes great with cat food. Yeah, you got to have kibble and Melback. It is like the cheese platter. There actually is a cat wine. They made a cat wine. I had some of it. I had a bottle of it. I never drank it. That'd be great if I drank cat wine, And then I was just in the corner, like drunk on cat wine, like. What? I'm bathing. Just something like that. Yeah, and I would never, I've never given Jose cat wine. I would love to, if there was a way to get your cat, like, intoxicated on a cat level, like that would be great. Not like the guy I knew in high school who supposedly put half a hit of acid in a cat's water. No, just something that was just like a night. Like, I would love to see Jose a little tipsy. To have this to be sitting on the couch with Jose and just be like, man, these people are selling whatever they want to Shark Tank. And he's like, I'll tell you, I don't even understand why anyone is ever going to need something that gets that much lotion out of a bottle. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying, buddy. That's what I'm saying about the Spatty Daddy. We don't need this thing. You get your lotion out by turning it upside down. Exactly. You know what, Jose? What's up, brother? I'm fucking drunk. I'll tell you something, man. I'm a little tipsy, too. I had a couple cocktails, too. So you know what I'm saying? I love you, man. I love you, too, brother. You're so good to me. I know, man. I love you sleep on the pillow next to me in the night. That's awesome. I love that, too, man. I hate it when you claw my arm in the night. Why do you do that? I don't know. Sometimes I think your arm's like a mouse or something, but you know my arm. I know your arm. I'm just saying sometimes I don't know your arm is not a mouse. It looks like a mouse. How the hell does it look like a mouse to you? Well, it doesn't look like a mouse right now, but when it's dark, how it looks like a mouse. You need any more Cat Merlot? No, I'm good right now. Wait, no, what about some Cat Bernet Sauvignon? Like, oh, that's a good one. No, I don't need any of that. What about one of these right here that is a Pinot Meow? Did you just make that up? I did. I'm not very good at this. You're not. That'd be a good time. I would enjoy that. Good fucking cat buzz going, Little catnip, smoke that catnip. You want a hit? Yeah, I'd take a rip. Oh, that's good nip, paw, paw, pass, something like that. Puff, puff, paw. I don't know. But yeah, so there you go. Okay. Next. Red Rooster burger for Easter. The cheeseburger. The Cheesus burger. Red Rooster burger for Easter. Jesus Christ. Red Rooster burger for Easter. The Cheesus burger. Is that true? I don't even understand. This is one of those suggestions where I'm like, I don't know what you want. Red Rooster burger for Easter. The Cheesus burger. I mean, if that exists, then good for them at Red Rooster. Good for them. Red Rooster. Why does that feel? I feel like there's Red Robin. Is there a Red Rooster? Is that a thing? Red Rooster's a place? I've never fucking heard of it. So I don't know. I don't know about your Cheesus burger. Having a crush on your boss. Let's think about this. When have I had a crush on my boss? I mean, I've definitely had crushes on people I've worked with for sure who are higher up than me. So I guess you could classify that as having a crush on my boss. Yeah, makes you work harder, right? Sure does. I mean, that's the thing. That's what you would ideally want, is for your employees to find you attractive, because it would add a layer of effort, probably, wanting to super impress you. But yeah, I've never had a full-on crush on my boss. But I would imagine it's helpful. I have had, there's times where like I've had crushes with people that I've worked with, and it's so fucking hard to know when to act upon those sort of things in a way. I think the truth is like, you definitely want to be professional, so you got to be really fucking careful, You don't want to like Cuomo, and just be like, is it okay to talk to you about your sexual history? So you just, I don't know. Sometimes you can't strike. Sometimes you can't. Like they say, don't shit where you eat. So sometimes you got to just take a back seat. The best thing to do is to just quit. Just go up to your boss and be like, will you date employees? No, I quit. Marry me? No. Can I have my job back? No. Wait, this worked out so terribly. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm lucky, I guess. I've never fallen head over heels for my boss. Someday, I hope to. Or just have my harem of employees looking at me like, ooh, swoon, And I'll be like, someone fill the printer with paper, and they'll be like, we'll all do it. We think you're so attractive. That's a good vibe. That's good energy. Okay, trying to get loaned money back from a friend. Yeah, that can be very hard. I certainly have some loans that I don't ever think I'll see again. There are times, that. It's almost like every year I get these screeners, or not this year, but you get these screeners if you're like involved in LA bullshit, and you get movies early. You get good movies you want to see, you get a bunch of movies you don't want to see. You get a lot of screenplays where you're like, why the fuck am I going to read the thing I could watch right here? But you get a lot of those things, and those I find are real bad. Those I'll loan to people, I'll be like, look, you can borrow it, but bring it back. And they're like, dude, I'll have Jojo Rabbit back to you next week. And then like 3 weeks later, you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, sorry, man, super busy. And you're like, I know, but the you that wanted my Jojo Rabbit was super cool and understanding about me wanting it back. And the you that's seen Jojo Rabbit is a real selfish prick. And they're like, well, sorry about that. I want to get it back to you as soon as I can. I just sent it to my mom in Florida. Once she's done watching it, you can have it back. And you're like, you fucking suck. But yeah, it's bad. I've been on the side of accepting many a loan. I've had many alone nights. No, many loans. I've had many loans, and as soon as I can pay it back, I pay it back, because I hate it. I hate not pay. That to me feels like a cloud looming over you. So yeah, I'll always pay back. But yeah, when you don't get paid back, I mean, what do you do? What can you really do? You just learn. You learn to not loan a lot of money to your friends unless they're in need and unless they really will pay you back. But yeah, it's tough. I have friends asking me to invest in shit too. That's tough. When friends will be like, I'm opening my dream facility for my dream job. Got any money? And you're like, nah, it's not my dream. So see you later. But yeah, I mean, there's just, a lot of that. But what are you going to do? What's a memory that you think about it and you still cringe? Oh my God. There's so many. I remember one time when I was like first doing stand-up, the first few times I did stand-up, I went on the road with Steve Byrne and like a couple other comics, and what would happen is I would just do a small spot. So I would do like a guest spot. So I do like a 5-minute guest spot. Well, that eventually led to I would MC a lot of Steve's shows. And when you're on the road MCing shows, you go up, you do 10 minutes, then you bring up them feature, they do 20, 25, then you come right back up, you bring up the headliner, they do whatever, like the hour, and then you go back up there and you're like, hey, everybody drive safe, whatever. And I'd only done it on the road. It's a rare experience, but I have done so much more stand-up on the road than in actual clubs in Los Angeles. I don't do a lot of shows in LA. So anyway, I'm at the Improv, and I'm doing a show with Steve, and I know that, it's Steve's show and everything, and I think, I don't remember what the deal was, but here's what I didn't know. I didn't know that it wasn't just myself, another comic, and Steve. It was like a regular club show where there's like 8 comics doing like 10 minutes, or maybe less than that, like 7 comics doing like 7 minutes, and then Steve will go up. Well, I didn't know that. So I did my set, and then I think I literally was like done with my set. I was like, thank you very much, everybody. All right, guys, you're going to love your headliner. You've seen him on Sullivan and Son. He's got multiple specials, some of them available on Netflix. Give it up for Steve Byrne. And then like the music went kind of weird, and then Mike Kaplan just comes from the back of the club, and he starts walking towards the stage. And I'm like, I don't know him at the time, and I'm like, the fuck is he doing? And he comes up and he's like, I'm the next comic. And I'm like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, Mike Kaplan. I'm like, oh, give it up for Mike Kaplan. And then Mike Kaplan comes up there, and he's just like, that was the weirdest introduction I've ever had in my life. And I was just sitting there like, what a fucking idiot. You look so stupid. And you feel so, because you're stupid. You're a stupid person. You feel so stupid, and and so I was just like, oh, you idiot. And I will still, to this day, be in my kitchen sometimes. I'll just be like washing a dish, and I'll just think about what I did bringing Mike Kaplan on stage, and I'll just go, God damn it. That's the other, you'll say it. It'll go on for years. You'll still say it. Years later, you'll be alone thinking about it, and you'll just be like, I am a dumb piece of shit. And your wife's like, what'd you say? And you're like, nothing. I was just thinking about the time that I brought Mike Kaplan up on stage. I'm such a dumb piece of shit. What did you do wrong? I shouldn't have brought him. I didn't bring him up properly. I am an idiot, and it's all that anyone remembers, But it's good when you get away with those things. But those things now, right? They can become these moments. If you fuck up on social media, like, it can be forever that you're followed by these things, So it is so much different. Like, if someone had been filming that show, I'm not saying it would be like a viral clip, but surely some people would get a kick out of watching a guy flail so hard and be so bad at introducing other comedians, that it could go viral. I mean, there's just stuff where you do it and you fuck up, and what else can you do? You got to move on. I mean, the human experience in a way is learning to like fathom and control the brutality that trauma puts on you. And so you can't beat yourself up over these little things, because, then real shit happens and you go, oh shit, well, yeah. But no, I will forever kick myself about the time that I brought Mike Kaplan up on stage like a goddamn lunatic. Okay. Would you go on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette? I want to host it. I want to host The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, okay? Bring someone who recognizes the disgracefulness of an antebellum party onto the show. I'll host it, okay? But as far as would I be on either of those? No, I wouldn't. And the truth is, it's not because I'm like, I'm better than these shows. I mean, I am better than these shows, but that's not the reason. The reason is I don't think I'd win. So I wouldn't go on there if I'm not going to win. I mean, these are like really attractive dudes, like if you're on the Bachelorette, like they are I wouldn't fit in, I'd just be there like, so what's in creatine? And they'd be like, this guy is like in his 40s. And I'd be like, hey guys, So I just feel like a real wet noodle loser. Now, if I was going to be the Bachelor, would I do that? That I would probably do, but it's so weird that I think I wouldn't do it. But I probably would. Here's what I'd do. The producers would be like, are you in or are you out? And I'd pull one rose out of my hand and I'd be like, this is the toughest decision I've ever had to make as to whether or not I will be the Bachelor. Unfortunately, ABC, I can't give you this rose because this show is for people who are genuinely disturbed. And while I used to be, I don't think I am as much anymore. Thank you. And then I'd come out behind myself and be like, there's no roses left. Because that's all Chris Harrison does. Chris Harrison's job is the easiest job, his former job is the easiest job on earth. You get paid millions of dollars to go to resorts all over the world, and then once every 3 days, you just have to literally go behind the Bachelor or the Bachelorette during one of their rose ceremonies and just step forward and go, there's one rose left. And then you take off, and then you're done, and that's your job. And you get paid handsomely, and it's stupid, and it's a job a dog could do. Yet for some reason, this dude fucked it up. This dude messed it up. This dude's only job was to say nothing. And then the first time he opens his mouth, he's like, whoa. In 2018, it might have been okay to go to an antebellum party, but in 2021, sure, it's a little different. It's like, the thoughts were so crazy, it took me a couple watches to actually process what he was saying. Fucking absurd. Okay, anyway. Golf courses in desert regions. This is golf courses, ... In desert regions. I don't know. What is that stupid? I'm sure it's stupid. Everything's a sand trap then. So that probably sucks. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are you talking about? Like a Dubai? I don't know. I don't really know about golf courses. I'm not a golfer, you know? I'll go golfing, but I'll only go golfing because it means you can drink a bunch of beer and get really high on the course. That's it. And, you know, suck. But it's fun. It's a fun sport to play. But in desert regions, I mean, eventually we're all going to be playing in desert regions. It always blows my mind watching golf course sprinklers, because they are blasting it, you know? It's just, I look at water now in this way where I'm like, you know, I bet one day we'll be like, gosh, it would be good to have that water back. You know, we're going to look at like fountains and just be like, gosh, we could have sure used that water now. We're going to look at golf course sprinklers and be like, boy, it sure seemed really valuable then. Movie scenes where they make it rain, like, good thing they didn't wait for an actual rain scene because they really needed to burn all that water. Every slip and slide, pool, all of it. You know, just fucking, just abusing the water. I can't wait to tell my grandchildren that I will not have. And even if I did, they will not be around. I cannot wait to tell them about the things we burnt water on. Ice and urinals. I think I've talked about it before, but that is a big one. You're going to tell people about ice and urinals. Women probably don't even fully know about ice and urinals. For some reason, in certain places, they just fill the urinals with ice. And it just turns into water when your warm piss goes on it. That's the only part that is fun, is that you're like, oh, I'm going to piss all this ice away. And it just melts because your piss is warm. But why? Who is the first guy who was just like, you know, I'm going to want my urinals on the rocks? You know, and someone was like, yeah, fill those things with ice. That's what we need. Or even the fact that they flush. The fact that urinals flush. They shouldn't flush. They have like 800 holes. They're going into the ground. We don't need to give them a water slide to get down there. It's already liquid. Why are we diluting it? But yeah, so that's my answer to golf courses in desert regions. Okay. Cassette tapes. Cassette tapes. Man, I remember them. Man, I remember cassette tapes. I remember when you had the fast forward button that would actually go to the next song. That was revolutionary. My first car was a Volkswagen Jetta, and it was not good. When I got it, it had already had the radio stolen from it. So what I did was I got a boombox, and I just kept a boombox in my car, and I would listen to my boombox in my car, and I would have tapes. You know, all I would listen to was Midnight Marauders by Tribe Called Quest. And then I would put the tape in my boombox, and I would play the tape to and from school on my boombox. And then I would just like eventually, you know, it would just be like, I'd just be listening to it and be like, 8 times out of 10, we listen to our music at night. The word maraud means to loot. In this case, we maraud for ears. And then I'd be like, all right, I got to go get 6 new D batteries.
His name is Gareth.
So I will say Barack Obama does follow me on Twitter, and I'm not sure why, but he does. Promotional stuff. We have the Dollop Show a week from tonight at 6 p.m. You can get tickets through Looped Live. I've posted a bunch of links of that. Go buy tickets. So that means next week, Gareth's will be on Wednesday night. And then the following week, not this Thursday, the following Thursday, I have a live stand-up event I'll be doing right here in my home. Written stand-up, some actual put-together thoughts instead of just the ramblings of a lunatic off of suggestions. And you can get tickets to that, again, social media or nightlight.tv, L-I-T-E for night, and I think it's N-I-T-E too. But I might be wrong. It might be N-I-G-T-H. Pandemics, every Friday they drop. There's a new one tomorrow, pretty good. The following week is fucking great. Please subscribe to this channel. Like I said, ring the bell. I've got some merch. If you guys are interested in that, go to my website, GarethReynolds.com. On the subreddit, you can go to r/Gareth Reynolds on the subreddit, and go to the subreddit and post if you like. I'm told that the people post there. So go to the subreddit, r/Gareth Reynolds. And you know what time it is. It's time for the boy of the hour. Last week's song was great. There's no way I'm going to do better than last week's song. God damn it. This is obnoxious. Come on. Oh, son of a bitch. There we go. Okay, hold on. Yes. Yes. The boy is here. My little baby boy. My little man. My best boy. And my best pal. You're a cat. I'm a man. They say our love, some don't understand. But we are one, aligned in ways. And this is how we spend our pandemic days. It's how we spend our pandemic days. You and I, we hung out and say, that's how we're going to spend our pandemic days. We're going to spend our pandemic days. You have fur, I do not. You like sleeping, you wake me up a lot. But this is why we are so tight. And why people will go to .tv Nightlight to watch my show, The Pandemic. We had a chorus. What was the chorus, Jose? Do you remember? We're the pandemic boys. Was that it? We're the pandemic boys. We like to make pandemic noise. We don't care what people say. If they get a noise, we don't care. 'Cause we're the pandemic boys. When I say pee, you must blink. I can watch your mind think that's 'cause we're the pandemic boys. Say it. We're the pandemic boys. That's right. We're the pandemic boys. That's right. Yeah, we're the pandemic boys. That's right. We said we're pandemic boys. That's right. I said we're the pandemic boys. That's right. I said pandemic boys. Oh, yeah.
His name is Gareth. Hence why it's Gareth.